Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All the Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radharani Devi Dances from Bangalore.
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Always to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. This is Anita from Sharjah, UAE. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anta Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to Assembly. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This is Varsha from Charlotte. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj and all assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Radha Mataji, this is Murali Asik from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Kamadika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to introduce themselves?
Yeah, Mataji, I will start the recording.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Today, Hare Krishna, welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today, we are fortunate to have His Grace Vamshidhari Prabhu ji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, 5th chapter, verse 35 onwards. Hare Krishna, Vamshidhari Prabhu ji. Mataji,
Yes. We have introduction, right, Mataji?
yeah. First, I would like to hand over the call to Praveen Govind Prabhuji for introduction. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept the call, Prabhuji.
Krishna, my Dandavat Pranams to all the devotees on the call. His Grace Vamshidhari Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. Prabhuji was initiated in 2007. He studied Sanskrit under His Grace. MA Sanskrit. Prabhuji also completed Bhakti Shastri course while residing in Govardhan for 3 years. He is an online teacher of various Shastra courses in Tamil, Telugu, and English. He is also a trainer for corporations and business houses under the guidance of His Grace Radhesham Prabhu in Pune. They conduct a program called Corporate Spiritual Solutions, CSS. Vamshidhari Prabhu's wife, Baladevi Devi Dasi, is a doctor. She serves at the temple. In addition to preaching, they have a 4-year-old daughter, Minakshi Narasimha Priya. Currently, they are teaching a course called Bhagavad Pravaha, which is a complete overview of Srimad Bhagavatam in Tamil language. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Vamshidhari Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning. Enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, I would like to hand over call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So, I have seen your YouTube link and Facebook links that there are many great speakers who are continuously coming and giving their association in this Bhakti Sangha Japa group. It's so wonderful to see how you are organizing these programs. And I also feel honored and humbled also in one way to speak in this great assembly. But taking it as a service, I would like to speak whatever is my realization and whatever I have read and understood from Srila Prabhupada. And also I would like to ask all of you to excuse me for my not so good English, because we are here preaching mostly in Tamil language and Telugu, but not much in English. So if there will be very grammatical and mistakes, so it should be, please a little bit excuse me for this, and I would like to touch this topic today with all your permission. Sarvashastra Piyusha Sarvavedaika Satpala Sarvasiddhanta Ragnadya Sarvalokaika Drippada Sarvabhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kalitwando Didaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita Paramananda Pathaya Prema Varsaksharayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostute Madeka Bhando Matsangin Madguro Manmahadana Mannistaraka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute Asadu Sadhu Dadayin Nati Nichota Jakara Anamunchakada Shrinmam Premna Vritkantayospura Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadesya Tonvayaditadde Savidyaswara Tene Brahmahridaya Adikavaye Mukhyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Varimrtam Yatavinimayo Yatra Trishamvamrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastabham Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Projita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsarana Tatam Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Sivadam Tavatrayon Muranam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunikrute Kimva Parairishwaraha Satyo Vritya Avaratya Kritavi Susoshavistachanat Nikama Kalpadaror Kalitam Phalam Sukamabhat Avratta Samhitam Pipada Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasitaha Bhuvavakaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeta Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yonta Pravishya Vajama Prasuttam Sanjeevet Shakti Saraswadamna Anyantahastataranashravanatvagadin Prana Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Pantasman Puruhota Vairibalavan Matangavadyadgata Kumbhochatri Vipadanati Kavatu Pratyega Vajrayitaha Srimad Kantiravasa Pradasanakara Dharidara Tidura Prashvastatvan Tashanta Pradramana Bhavita Bhuri Bhagayi Hare Krishna. So today I have been given a shloka from 5th canto, 5th chapter, 35th verse, and I have been asked to speak something regarding a special day today, that is Mother's Day. So we will first of all see today Bhagavata shloka, and after that we will go for Mother's Day also, what Shastra speaks about that, the glories of mothers. So in Bhagavatam, in 3rd and 4th canto, Shukadeva Goswami was speaking the conversation about Vidura and Maitreya. When the conversation was over, in the 5th canto, Shukadeva Goswami takes over, and then he starts to speak the topic which he likes most. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was asking question and Krishna was answering for the question till 6th chapter, and from 7th chapter onwards, Krishna take over. Krishna he just said, okay, now Maya Saktavana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asamshayam Samakramam Yata Vyashashi Tat Shunu. Now Arjun, please hear from me. You have heard, means I have answered all your questions. Now you hear from me what I want to speak. This is what I really want to speak to you, because this is what in my heart, that is Bhakti Yoga. So in the middle 6 chapters, you can see Krishna just reveals his heart. It just flow, the nectar flows like anything about how Krishna's energy works and how we can get attached to Krishna. So all these topics are very beautifully narrated. And then as soon as Arjuna asked, can you show me the Vishwarupa? He just immediately jumped out of the chariot and he showed, here is the Vishwarupa. Because it was like no one was asking him, can you show Vishwarupa? And suddenly someone asked, okay, he is the person, right person to know. Okay, take Divya Chakshu and see my Vishwarupa. So in that way, Krishna was so much happy to reveal himself to his devotee, especially about Bhakti and about his Swarupa, his glory. So in this similar way, here Shukadeva Goswami, he was so happy to speak about this topic, especially about the topic of Rishabhadeva and Chadabarata, because these two personalities resemble Shukadeva Goswami. Because all these people are like Avaduta people. They are in different category. They are Paramahamsa. So because he now he is going to speak something about someone about like him. So he was so happy and he jumped out and he started speaking. So while speaking, he spoke very independently. If you see in Bhagavatam, mostly it is in a Padya style, means in a shloka format. You have different kinds of chandas, tunes for this. But if you see in the 5th canto, it is mostly in the form of Gadyas. Gadyas means in the form of paragraphs. There is no any particular meter or how to chant this verse and how many syllables in each verse. No. He just wanted to do it very independently and just like a flow, Ganga flow, he just wanted to do it very fluently. So he just removed all those. It shows that this 5th canto is following the rules of Avaduta, because Avadutas, they don't follow any rules. They just live as they like. They are above all the rules. Yasvatmati evasya atmatruptascha manava atman yevacha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. Krishna says, one who has tasted the soul, he doesn't have to follow all the rules and regulations of the Vedic literature, because the whole Veda is meant to understand or meant to realize this Atma and the position of this Atma. If he is already self-realized, then he doesn't have to follow. Still, people they follow just to give an example for the society. But there are some exceptional cases, like we have here Rishabhadeva and Sukadeva Goswami himself. They are all self-realized, they are Atmaramas, Paramahamsa. So they don't follow any Vedic rules and regulations. They are above all these Vedic rules and regulations. So if you see this Bhagavatam also, this 5th canto, it also doesn't follow any rules of Sanskrit. He just goes on speaking like a flow. So this Shukadeva Goswami starts speaking about in this 5th canto about Priyavrata Maharaja, and also he speaks about Agnidhara, and after Agnidhara he speaks about Nabhi. And while he was speaking about Agnidhara, he was a little bit shameful to speak about that kind of person who has such a character. He is a womanizer. He was flirting with a girl called Purvachitri and got married, and he was all his life he was very much attached with that girl. So he was a little bit shy to speak about this topic, but he has to speak because now his son Nabhi is going to get Rishabhadeva as a son. So just as in Bhagavad Gita, before starting Bhagavad Gita, we have to hear all the names of both Kauravas and Pandavas, because something more glorious is going to come. So in a similar way, he spoke about Agnidhara also, and he wanted to mention that even though you come in some high family, but still you can be bewildered. So you should know how to act properly or how to take association. So we will not go into this Agnidhara's charitra. So after this Agnidhara, we have Nabhi. This Nabhi, he couldn't have child for many years. Why? Because father's problem. Because father was a womanizer, so this karma has affected him also. So Nabhi couldn't get child for many years. And what he did? Nabhi apatyak kamo aprajaya merudhevya bhagavantam yajnam purusham avinatma ayajata. He started to do yajna along with his wife called Merudevi, and he was worshipping Supreme Lord to get a child. It was the Vedic culture, that whatever you need, that you go to God, that you ask Krishna, that you ask Lord, because even though we may have ability, but still we take help from the Lord. So that is what we are going to see in this Rishabhadevas in today's shlokas. That is the main tatparya, that even though you have this ability, but still you wait for Lord's mercy. Rakshishati iti vishwasah. So Nabhi Maharaja, he did yajna, and these Ritviks, these rishis, they were doing this yajna, and suddenly Lord appeared, because these rishis, they were doing this yajna with devotion, and they followed all the prescribed rules for doing some yajna. There are 7 main things that we should consider before doing an yajna, and they considered all this thing, and they gathered all this yajna materials, and they did with devotion. So due to this devotion, due to this bhakta vatsalya, Lord appeared in the yajna, from the yajna fire. And as soon as Lord appeared, these rishis all stood up and they paid obeisances. They all prayed Lord very humbly, and they said, "My dear Lord, we never did any yajna properly. This yajna also we couldn't do properly. But still, out of your mercy, you have appeared. It is not because of our endeavor. It's not because of our purity or our way of chanting mantras you have appeared, because you can be never conquered by any Vedic rules and regulations. You just appear on your own. Swayameva spuratyata. So in the similar way, you have appeared just because to show your mercy. Out of curiosity, you have appeared here. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. Sometimes you pass some in the road, and then something is happening in a room or in a building. So you just peep inside and see what is happening there. Okay, and then you walk out. So in a similar way, the rishis, they say, even though we did yajna in a not proper mode, but still out of curiosity, just to see whether we are doing this yajna properly or not, you just came inside to see what is happening, and we are very grateful to you. So now Lord is asking, okay, I'm here, which is very rare. I cannot be obtained by any kinds of tapasya or yoga siddhis or karma or punya. I'm here. So please take anything from me. Please take any vara from me. Please take any boon from me. Then rishis, they said, this Ritvik, they say, yeah, only fools will do that. Only fools will ask you for some boon. Because when we have got you, what else we need? If we have you, what else we need? That's what they say. But these rishis, they are very, very intelligent. And they say, okay, you have appeared and you are asking us to take any boon. So we'll ask a boon. We need a boon, definitely. We want this boon. Adak katanchit sharanachut padana jibrana dwaravastesu vishanam na smarana jvara marana dashaya api sakala kashmala nishanya tava gunakrita nama dheyani vachana gochanani bhavantu. Beautifully they are asking this vara, this boon. This boon we all need. What is that? We all read the Shastra, we all hear about Shastra, we all hear about Lord's glories, and we know Lord's pastime, everything we know. But when there is a need, when there is a problem, we forget everything. And immediately we start shouting, we become disturbed, we become depressed, we get angry, and we feel morose. So that knowledge was not helpful, whatever we heard. So the knowledge should help at the proper time. So for that we need Lord's mercy. That's what they say. Ata katanchit shalana chutpadana. Shatana means when you just fall down somewhere, or when you hit something, or jibrana. So all these things. Duravastadishu. When you are in a very bad situation, and vivashanam nasmaranaya. When you are in a great trouble, it is very difficult for us to remember Lord immediately. We immediately search for what is the solution, how to get out of this problem. We will never consider, okay, Lord is there. Even Draupadi, she tried her best to save herself, and then she realized, no, I cannot help myself. Only Lord can help. And then she raised her hand. So in a similar way, when we have a problem, we immediately think, what can I do? What I can do? What is the solution? Immediately we search for the solution. But here I say, when you have this problem, it is very difficult for us to remember. Smarana, jvara marana dashaya api sakala kalmasha nirashani tava gunakrita nama dheyani vachana gocharani bhavantu. During these difficult times, oh my dear Lord, oh Krishna, May we remember your name always. May we remember your guna. May we remember your qualities. May we remember your form always, even during this difficulties. Because when you are in a good position, you can remember Lord. But when you have a problem, it is very difficult. It's like a parrot. You can teach a parrot about Krishna. It will say Krishna. If you say Rama, it will say Rama. But when cat comes and catches that parrot, it doesn't say Krishna Rama. It says Krich, 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 Krich. No, it doesn't speak about Krishna's name. Why? Because we are like parrot-like people. So this realization has to come, and this realization can be given only by Lord, because He is inside us. Only He can do this realization. We can do our endeavor, but Lord is inside. Only He can do this. That's what Krishna says, that when you hear about this Bhagavatam, then Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastohi Abhadrani Vidunnoti Sugut Satam. He enters inside our heart and He clears. Only He can do that. So this rishis, they ask this beautiful boon, and we all should ask Lord about this beautiful boon. Then this rishis, they say, okay, anyway, we don't want any boon, we want only your remembrance, even at the difficulties, when difficulties come. But this person, this Nabi, he wanted some boon. So that's why we did this yajna. Ayam Rajarashi Apatnya Kamaha Prajam Bhava Adi Rishinam Asannaha Ishwaram Ashisham. He wanted a boon, that he wanted a child. And this child should be like you. He wants a child like you. He wants a son like you. Then after hearing this, Lord smiled and he said, Varam Masulabham Abhyachadoyat Amusyatmajo Maya Sadrisha Bhuyati iti. And he says, Varam Masulabham. What you asked, it is very difficult. Abhyachitoyat. What you have asked me, it is very difficult. Because there is no one equal to me in this world. There is no one equal, there is no higher than me. Maya Sadrisha Bhuyati. There is no one. Then he says, Mamaham yeva abhirupa kaivalya tatapi brahmavado namrisho bhavitum marhati mamaiva hi mukam yat vijadeva kulam. He says, okay, what I can do is, I have to save your words, because you have asked this boon. So Brahmana's word should never go in fail. Always Brahmana's word should work. So to keep your word, to keep the promise, I will definitely appear, and I will appear myself. Abhirupa kaivalyat atapi. Because after searching this whole world, who is equal to me, I cannot find anyone who is equal to me. So I appear myself to this couple, so that your words will be intact. So mamaivihi mukam yad vijadeva kulam. Because my mouth is not different from Brahmana's mouth. Brahmanas, whatever they say, it is actually coming from my mouth. So I accept to take birth in Rishabha. So when rishis, they finished this yajna, Rishabha, he got the Nabi, he got a boy called Rishabha. And Rishabha was a very talented person in all kinds of fields. That's why he called Rishabha. Rishabha means it's like a bull, or one who is very expert, or one who is very able. Like we have Bharata Rishabha. All the time Krishna states Arjuna as Bharata Rishabha. Bharata Rishabha is one who is best among the Bharatas. So he is very best person in the creation. So Nabi named him as Rishabha. And after some time, Nabi, he gave this kingdom to Rishabha, and he retired. He went to forest and he did tapasya, and he left his body. He went to Vaikuntha. This we see in Bhagavatam all the time. Starting from Vidura and Dhritarashtra, Pandavas, Shukadeva, Dhruva. So if you see in Bhagavatam right from first canto till fifth canto, you will see this kind of description that great Raja Rishis or great personalities, they live their life according to Varnashram Dharma with Bhakti Yoga. And at the end of their life, they give up everything, they take complete sannyasa, or they take this form of Avaduta and they go. Even Vidura, he was roaming around as an Avaduta. It is mentioned in Bhagavatam. And also this Dhritarashtra, at the end of life, he also took this Avaduta Vesha, means he took the sannyasa and he went in the forest and he did tapasya. So we have examples of Prithu Maharaj, even though he is Shakti Avatar of Lord, just to set an example for the society, he went along with his wife called Archie to do tapasya and to leave his body. And it is mentioned that he was doing tapasya for many years. Many years he was doing tapasya, and this Archie, she was serving Prithu Maharaja's body very nicely to take anyway he's not eating, so she was cleaning his body and taking care of his body. But he was just doing in samadhi, he was in samadhi, and at one point of time he just left the body without even mentioning to anyone. So in the middle of forest, Archie was there, and she was serving the body, and after some time, after some days maybe, she realized that her husband has left already this body, because the body got cool, very cold, and then she realized that he has left. So that was the mood that during those days they developed such a kind of renunciation, and they left even Kardama Rishi. He got Kapila as his son, but still he left his home and went for tapasya. We have Prachina Bharajit example, and we have Guru Maharaj, we have Prachetas, we have Priyavrata, now we have Nabi. And Nabi, he has given this kingdom to his son, Rishabhadeva, and he has gone for tapasya. And Rishabhadeva, he got married with a girl called Jayanti, and with her he gets 100 children. So in this 100 children, the first one, the elder one, is Bharata. Mahayogi Bharato, Jyeshta Shreshta Guna Asi, Yenedam Varsham Bharatam Iti Vyapad. So by whose name, by whose greatness, this whole Varsha is called Bharata Varsha. That Bharata was the first elderly son of this Rishabhadeva. So before this Bharata Varsha, it was called Ajanaba Varsha. And after this Bharata's rule, his period is called Bharata Varsha. So Rishabhadeva got very good children. He got Bharata as elder son, and he got Navayogendras, and then he has trained 81 of his sons as a perfect Brahmanas, and he had 9 sons who have become the in charge for 9 varshas. So in this way, Rishabhadeva did his grihastha life also. So he was so powerful. At one point of time, he could even defeat Indra, and Indra was coming and begging forgiveness from Rishabhadeva, because anyway he is Lord's incarnation himself. So once Rishabhadeva, he took all his sons to a tour, and he went to a place called Brahmavarta. In the Brahmavarta, many rishis have assembled, many devatas, many rishis have assembled there. And in the middle of this rishis, now Rishabhadeva starts to instruct their sons. And this is what this 5th chapter is. This 5th chapter in Bhagavatam is so nice that it has so many beautiful instructions. And if you see Srila Prabhupada's lecture or in his conversations, he mostly quotes from this 5th canto and from 7th canto, because these 2 cantos has so much, or we can say Prabhupada likes it most, because full Bhagavatam we can say there are so many beautiful instructions, but Srila Prabhupada likes this 5th canto or 7th canto more, so he quotes the shlokas many times. We've seen Veda base also. Prabhupada quotes this Rishabhadeva's quotation, this 5.5.1 and 5.5.2 and 5.5.5. All the shlokas he quotes many times. So this is how this conversation starts. That Rishabhadeva has gathered all the rishis and all the sons, and he starts to instruct. So when he called all the sons they have assembled, and Rishabhadeva says, "Okay, my dear sons, I will be here for maybe a few days with you, and after that I'm leaving. I'm leaving your house, I'm leaving your association. After that, you will never able to see me, and I will never see you, and we have no any more connections. So before that, I want to speak to you. I want to tell you something." So when the sons, when they heard that Rishabhadeva was going to leave them, then they were devastated. They were thinking like, when you have a boat coming for you with full of dollars, with full of pearls and gems, and on the way you have 1,000 boats coming, you have 1,000 ships coming to you with all these riches from some other country. And while coming, what happened? There was some big some problem happened, and then all the boats got broken in the middle of sea. So how much a person will feel sad about this? In a similar way, all these boys, they were thinking, "My God, my father is going to leave us." So they were devastated and they couldn't speak anything. So they were asking, Father, what we should do, how we should survive, how we should live, what shastras we should go through. Then Rishabhadeva starts to instruct them. I will just go through some of the instruction, and then we will go to today's shloka. These are very beautiful shloka, and acharyas, they give very beautiful commentaries. You must have heard these instructions many times, but still to get inside our heart for our own purification, we can read it again. Nayam deha deho bhajam viloke kashtan kaman arhati vidpujamye tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam sutyad brachmad brahma saukyam tvanantam mahat sevam dvaram mahor vimuktes tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam mahantaste samachitta prashantaha vimanyave suvurdassadavoye. He says, my dear sons, this human form of life, it is not meant for this bodily enjoyment, which is anyway miserable. This human body is meant for higher purpose. It is meant for tasmad brahma saukyam kvanantam. It is meant to achieve this brahma saukya, which is unlimited. Don't go after this yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yoneva yevate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Krishna says, one who is intelligent, he will never go for this bodily sense gratification, because it is miserable in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. So an intelligent person will never go for this bodily enjoyment, and human life is not meant for this bodily kind of enjoyment, because it is available even for pigs. That's what he said. With puja. So why this human life is meant for? This human life is meant for tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam suddhet yasmad brahma saukyam tvanantam. To attain that brahma saukya, to attain that brahma bhuta prasanna atma, to attain your own swarupa, that is mamaivamsho jivaloki, to attain your own swarupa, this human life is given to you. So you should use this human life to attain that. Don't think about sense gratification. And how to do that? By tapo divyam, divya tapas. Not only tapas, but divya tapa. Tapa means undergoing some difficulties voluntarily for the purpose of spiritual advancement. So tapasya is done by even monkeys. Monkeys, they stay in forests and they stay naked and they eat only fruits and dry leaves, but they are not tapasvis, because it's not divya tapas. Divya tapas means Bhagavad Aradhana. So if you worship Lord, that is actually a biggest tapasya. So you do this tapasya of worshipping the Lord. And how to do that? He says, Mahat sevam dvaram ahor vimuktes tamodvaram yoshidam sangi sangam. Don't try to understand, don't try to do everything on your own. They ask which shastra we should follow. And he says, don't go to shastras immediately. Don't go and try to understand shastra on your own, because dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya mahajano yana padasthapantaha. Dharma is very difficult to understand, because of Vedic literature, it speaks very indirectly and it is giving so many instructions, so it is very difficult for us to ascertain what we should follow. That's why people, they take up shastras and they start reading and they come up with so many nonsense ideas, but some of them, they end up as atheists also. Why? Because they don't take help from devotees. That's why he says, Mahat sevam dvaram ahor vimuktes. Only if you attain a devotee who has realized this knowledge, only he can impart this knowledge unto you. Tene brahma hridaya adikavaye. And we also say that divya gyan hridaya prakashito. So this Vedic literature has to be understood through the help of devotees. It's like an ocean. When you are thirsty, you cannot go to the ocean and drink water as it is. Ocean has water, but it is so salty. If you drink that ocean water, then whatever you have eaten yesterday, it will also come out in the form of vomit. So what you have to do, this ocean water is purified in the form of rainwater, and this rainwater is very sweet. You can drink that rainwater. The similar way, the ocean, like Vedas, are very vast and it is very difficult to understand. So those devotees, they take the instructions from this Vedic literature and they shower mercy in the form of the instructions, the acharyas. So if we take their instruction, then it is easier for us to understand and to do this Bhagavad Aradhana Rupa Divya Tapasa. Then he says, who are those sadhavas? Who are those sadhus with whom we should associate? He gives their qualities also. Mahantaste samachitta prashantaha vimanyavah suhridah sadavo ye yeva mayi krita suhridarte janesu dhap dehambara vartikeshu grihesu jayatmajaratmatassu na priti yukta yavadartascha loke. He gives various qualities of the sadhus. They are samachitta, they are very equal, they are very equally possessed. And they are prashanta. Prashanta means they are very self-satisfied. And vimanyava suhridah sadhavo, they are very friendly to all. In this way, we can see the quality of sadhu. They never get angry on anyone and they don't find fault on anyone. So this is the quality of a sadhu. And their only goal is to attain God and is to serve God. They don't have any other goal and they don't have any other affection for anyone. Even though they live in a grahastha life with all their, it is mentioned here, even though they live among their wife, children, but still their affection is only for the Lord and how to serve the Lord. And Vishwanath Chakravarti gives a very famous example how a devotee should live. I think in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita commentary, Srila Prabhupada mentions this example. You all know that example. So here he says that these sadhus, they don't want to associate with people who are all the time speaking about this bodily enjoyment. So he just gets away from them. So in this way, the priti yukta yavad arthascha loke, he has no any attachment in this world. He don't have any artha. He doesn't want to gain anything in this world except Lord's service. So in Uddhava Gita, Krishna instructs also Uddhava that how a grahastha should live in his house. When he is living in his house, he should live in his house just like we will be living in our guest house. When we go to somebody's house as a guest, how we will behave? We are invited to one's house as a guest, so we go there, we stay there. We use everything, but nothing belongs to us. We just stay, we have a very friendly conversations, but we know we have to leave this place very soon. As soon as our time finishes or as soon as our guests kick out, we have to leave this place. In a similar way, all this grahastha, those who are living with our family and house, we should live in our own house just like a guest. This house doesn't belong to me and this people doesn't belong to me also. I'm just here for some time until my kala comes, my time comes. So I will be here, use everything, but nothing belongs to me. Without any attachment, I will just live here and my inspiration, my only desire is to serve that Lord. So in this way, one should live. This is the quality of a sadhu. Nonam pramattak kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya apranoti nasadu manye yada atmayoyam asannapi klesha asadehi. He says this human life should be used for this, otherwise we are pramattas, we are mad people. Nonam pramattak kurute vikarma. Because of madness, people they don't understand. Matirana Krishna Parata Satova, Mito Pipatyeta Graha Pradhanam, Adanta Gopi Vishatam Tamishram, Puna Punascharvita Charvananam. Prahlad Maharaj also says that people, because of uncontrolled senses, they just do the same thing again and again. They're ready to chew the chew, they're like chewing the chew. But even though it is tasteless, it is nothing, it is frustrating, but still they have no knowledge, or because their senses are uncontrolled, they will never take up Krishna consciousness. Matirna Krishna Parata Satova, Mito Pipatyeta Graha Pradhanam. Even on their own, they will never come to Krishna consciousness. Even if somebody instructs them, they will never come to Krishna consciousness because of uncontrolled senses. So here he also says this, Nunam Pramattak Kurute Vikarma. Because of Pramatta, because of our madness. What is a madness? Uncontrolled senses. Uncontrolled senses is our madness. So when somebody is uncontrolled, when the senses are uncontrolled, then he goes mad. He doesn't know what he is doing. And that's why they do all kinds of sinful activities. So because of this pramatta, we are all like mad people. Prabhupada says we are all like a mad person in this material world. What is a mad person? What is a example given? Why this example is given? Because mad person, he is assuming a different role which is not himself. He has good intelligence. He will act like a traffic police. He will act like a teacher. He will behave like a doctor. He will do all kinds of stuff. But why we call him as a mad person? Because he is not in his own identity. He has taken a false identity and he is behaving in this false identity. So in a similar way, We are all mad people. Why? Because we have forgotten our own identity as Mamai or Jiva, okay? And we are taking this false identification as so many different identification, and we are trying to get happiness and distress from this false identification. So that's why Shastra calls us Pramatta, Nonam Pramatta. We are all mad people. So how this madness will go? He says, only if you approach a guru and you reach and you serve him very peacefully, then your antakarana will be purified. If this antakarana is purified, then you will be able to see the real goal of your human life. Otherwise, people get this attachment because of this ahankara, because I want to enjoy. Then pumsastriyami tuni bhavametam tayo mito grade granti mahu ado grha kshetra sudapta vittaihi janasya mohoyam aham mameti. They come inside this false identification of I and mine because of this pumsastriyami tuni bhavametam. So in a similar way, he goes on instructing how one can purify his antakarana. So unless you purify his antakarana, then the soul's swarupa will not be revealed. So whole point of Bhakti Yoga practice is meant to clear our antakarana. Antakarana means mind, intelligence, ego, and chitta, consciousness. So these four things has to be clear. If it is clear, then Atma Swarupa will be revealed. If the Atma Swarupa is revealed, then you know what to do. It's like you are in a coma. When you are treated with this, then you know your identity, then you know what to do. So in a similar way, Guru treats us to do this. But if Guru doesn't treat that, then it says, Guru nasasyat, svajano nasasyat, pita nasasyat, janani nasasyat, daivam tasasyat, napitascha nasyat, namo chayet samubeta mrityum. He gives all this instruction. And at last, the last instruction which Rishabhadeva gives to the children is Manovacho Drik Karane Hitasya Sakshat Kritam Me Paribekhanam Na Vinapuman Ye Maha Vimohat Krikanta Pashanna Vimoktum Ishat. He says, with your mind and vachana and your body, what you have to do, you have to serve that Lord under the proper guidance of a spiritual master by clearing your antakarana. So in this way, he gives so many instructions, and after instructing, he is not sitting at his house. Okay, now I have instructed, now you please all go and do your devotional service. No, he wants to exemplify his life itself to show how to do this devotion. Then he leaves that place and he moves around very freely, without any disturbance, without any dependency. He just moves around happily in the form of Avaduta. And you must be hearing his characters, how he is moving around. And the next chapter, the 6th chapter also will describe the qualities of Rishabhadeva more nicely. So he was moving out as Avaduta. This shows the Nirbhayatva, means he is completely dependent on the Lord. He is not after anybody's dependency. So even Vidura, when he started to go for his Tirtha Yatra, then immediately Lord appeared in his heart and he said, Vidura, don't worry, I am with you. I'm all the time with you. I'm holding your hand. Please come. I will be with you. I will be talking with you all the time. So Vidura was able to see Lord's form everywhere. He could see Lord's presence everywhere. So in this way, there's no any fear. There's no any sorrow. So we see Prabhupada also that he went to America, but he was carrying Krishna with him. Even though he was moving around this world, but he was always moving with Krishna. So this shows the firm conviction of a devotee. Yes, Krishna is there and he is helping. Only he can help me. I'm completely dependent on the Krishna's mercy. So we can talk theoretically so many things, but unless we hit the road, we take this complete surrendering mood, then it is very difficult for us to realize that Krishna's mercy. We may have so many theoretical knowledge, like my Guru Maharaj used to say that unless you hit the road and talk to people, then you will never understand what is Shanagati, what is meant by complete dependency of the Lord. So the devotees, they keep themselves in such a position just to realize that complete surrender. So that this Rishabhadeva also, he was he left the house and he was moving around to the different parts of the Bharatavarsha. And while he was moving around, so many useless, foolish people, they start to criticize and they start to chastise and they start to urinate on him and spit on him. They did so many abominable things. But Rishabhadeva was not at all disturbed because he knows he is not his body. His body can be disrespected and they can harm this body, but for the soul there is no any harm. Like if you see a car and a person is sitting inside a car, he is cool, he's inside and he's hearing some song or he's sleeping, he's thinking about something very happy thing. But there are some people who are it got parked in a wrong place and everybody starts shouting, oh, your useless car, your black car, your red car, your diesel car, your engine car, your Innova car, your Toyota car, your useless fellow. So what it has to do with that person? If the person is attached with the car, then he may be disturbed like us. We are attached with this car. So whatever happens to this body, we become disturbed. Otherwise, the soul has nothing to do with this body. When the body is disturbed, the soul doesn't get disturbed. This is what Bharata Maharaja says, Chadabharata says to Prabhupada. When he was asking him to carry the palanquin, he said, I'm not disturbed. I'm not the carrier. I'm not the one who is disturbed with your filthy words as a fat and you are a dead person walking. So Raghunath spoke so many filthy words and Rishabhadeva and Jadabharata said, it doesn't affect me because I'm not this body. He understood, he was in that level. We may ask how it will not affect us. When you hit this body and you feel pain, so how we can say that when the body is affected, the soul is not affected? How can you say like that? The Raghunath asked the same question. Then Jadabharata gives very beautiful answer. You don't compare yourself with me. First of all, you come to my realization. When you come to my relation, you will understand. Without coming to my relation, if you are staying in your relation and you are asking how it is possible, then it will never happen. My relation is different and your realization is different. Until you reach my realization, you will never understand. So spiritual things, we have to come to this realization. Until we come to this realization, it just stays at theory. It cannot be explained. You have to realize. Like Vidura was asking this question to Maitreya, how to understand there is a reincarnation and Atma. So he gives this example also. Anyway, I will not go into this topic now. So here he left out to his from his house and he was roaming around as an Avadhuta. And after some time, he can see people cannot understand his nature. So he thought, okay, let me stop this traveling and stay in one place, and I will do Ajagravritti. I will eat, I will just maintain my body, whatever comes on its own by Lord's arrangement, I will stay in a place. So he was staying in a place, he was urinating in the same place, he was going stool, he was doing all kinds of things in the same place, but because his body is Divya, his body is complete transcendental, so nothing affected him. So in this way, we have reached our shloka today. So can we see our shloka today? Can someone put the shloka? इति नाना योगचर्य अर्चन भगवान कैवल्यपतिः ऋषभ अमृत परम महानंद अनुभव आत्मनि सर्वेषां भूतानां आत्मभूत भगवति वासुदेवे आत्मनवदाने अनंत रोधर भावेन सिद्ध समस्त परिपूर्ण योग ऐश्वर्याणि वहेयासं मनज्जव अंतर्धान परकाय प्रवेश दूरग्रहाणि आदीनि यदृच्छया उपगतानि न अंजसा नृतहृदयानि अध्यानन्दात्. So in this shloka, we'll read the translation from this. Okay, we'll read this translation and we will go through this the meaning of the shloka. So how to do this? Means we read translation, we go for the purport also, or how do you do this?
Yes, Prabhuji, we read the translation and purport. Yes.
O King Parikshit, just to show all the yogis the mystic process, Lord Rishabhadeva, the plenary expansion of Lord Krishna, performed wonderful activities. Actually, he was the master of liberation and was fully absorbed in transcendental bliss, which increased 1,000-fold. Lord Krishna Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva, is the original source of Lord Rishabhadeva. There is no difference in their constitution, and consequently, Lord Rishabhadeva awakened the loving symptoms of crying, laughing, and shivering. He was always absorbed in transcendental love. Due to this, all mystic powers automatically approached him, such as the ability to travel in outer space at the speed of mind, to appear and disappear, to enter with the bodies of others, and to see things far, far away. Although he could do all this, he did not exercise these powers. So, purport by Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.35 and translation also. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, it is said that Krishna Bhakti Nishkama Atayeva Shanta Bhakti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakalaya Shanta. The word Shanta means completely peaceful. Unless all one's desires are fulfilled, one cannot be peaceful. Everyone is trying to fulfill his aspiration, desires, but they material or spiritual. Those in the material world are ashanta, without peace, because they have so many desires to fulfill. The pure devotee, however, is without desire, anya bilashita sunya. The pure devotee is completely free from all kinds of material desire. Karmis, on the other hand, are simply full of desires because they try to enjoy sense gratification. They are not peaceful in this life. They are not peaceful in this life, nor the next, during the past, present, or future. Similarly, jnanis are always aspiring after liberation and trying to become one with the Supreme. Yogis are aspiring after many siddhi powers, anima, lahima, prapti, etc. However, devotee is not at all interested in all these things because he is fully dependent on the mercy of Krishna. Krishna is Yogeshwara, the possessor of all mystic powers, siddhis. He is, one second, my window is. He is Atmarama, fully satisfied. The yoga siddhis are described in this verse. One can fly in outer space without aid of a machine, and he can travel at the speed of mind. This means that as soon as yogi desires to go somewhere within this universe or even beyond this universe, he can do so immediately. One cannot estimate the speed of mind, for within a second the mind can go many millions of miles. Sometimes yogis enter into the body of other people and act as they desire when their bodies are not working properly. When the body becomes old, a perfect yogi can find a young, able body. Giving up his old, the yogi can enter into the young body and act as he pleases. Being the planetary expansion of Lord Vasudeva, Lord Rishabhadeva possessed all these mystic yoga powers, but he was satisfied with his devotional love of Krishna, which was evinced by the ecstatic symptoms such as crying, laughing, and shivering. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Swami purport of the 5th canto, 5th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Rishabhadeva's teaching to his sons. Okay. Here, few things are discussed, that Rishabhadeva's activities. Iti nana yoga charya acharana bhagavan kaivalya parihi Rishabha avirita parama mahananda anubhava atmani sarvesham. The Lord, he is he likes to enjoy all kinds of mellows. So he enjoys this mellow of renunciation also. He wants to taste this mellow also. So Rishabhadeva was doing so many wonderful activities, and the purpose of Rishabhadeva's appearance is mentioned in the end of 6th chapter. Shukadeva Goswami praises in the end of 6th chapter of this 5th canto. He says why this Rishabhadeva has appeared, because Lord appears in this world to establish dharma. And what is the dharma? He establishes sadhana dharma and also paradharma. That is not normal dharma, it's normal way of life, and also the Atma's eternal dharma. So Atma's eternal dharma is devotion service, and during those time, in Rishabhadeva's time, They were all Paramahamsas. In Satya Yuga, they were all Paramahamsas. So he came to establish this Paramahamsas dharma. So Nityanubhuta Nijalava Nivritta Krishna Shreyasi Adat Rachanaya Sirasukta Buddhe Lokasya Yat Karunaya Abhayam Atmalokan Akyan Namo Bhagavate Rishabhaya Tasmai. So this is how Shukadeva Goswami completes Rishabhadeva's Charitra. He says, Namo Bhagavate Rishabhaya Tasmai. I offer my obeisances to the Rishabhadeva, who is not different from the Lord himself. So why he has appeared? Nityanubhuta Nijalava Nivritta Krishna. People forgetting their own self-satisfaction, or Nijalava means, how to say, forgetting what is real Shreyas for them, what is good for them. People are thirsty, people are running after which is useless and which is creating so many calamities, but still people are running after them. Why? Because of too much bodily activities, too much engrossed in bodily activities. People are so busy in taking care of this body, forgetting their soul. If you are giving a little bit space for this bodily enjoyment, then slowly it covers your time, your energy, your intelligence, and it preaches to you. Yes, it is good. It is good. You go ahead. We are doing good. The spiritual life is good, but take care of your body also nicely. It is Lord's instrument. We should take care, and everything can be utilized for Lord's service and Yukta Vairagya. So we start to acquire so many things in the name of Yukta Vairagya, but Yukta Vairagya has to be practiced under the guidance of a proper spiritual master. It is not that we can take anything and we can form it as Yukta Vairagya. No, it is always in the spiritual life, this is the first principle, that you take a shelter of a spiritual master and you follow his instruction. You don't take your own decisions. Then we will be in trouble. We will be in a big trouble that if you follow your own Yukta Vairagya things. So here he says, because of too many bodily needs, bodily attachment, people have forgotten their own Shreyas. And to show that this is wrong, this body can be maintained by any means. Even if you live simply, the body can be maintained, but your goal should reach the higher thing, simple living and higher thinking. So just to establish this point, Rishabhadeva has taken up this mode of life, that he didn't take care of his body nicely, but still he lived, and all his mind, intelligence, and ego, he was in his chitta, he was always thinking about the Lord. So just to show an example for the yogis how they should live, the Lord Rishabhadeva has taken up this avatar out of his mercy. He says, Karunaya Abhayam Atmalokam. Just to give Abhaya means fearlessness. How you get fearlessness? When you are connected with the Lord, you are fearless. Otherwise, you are fearful. When you are holding Lord's hand, you are fearless. Otherwise, you are all the time fearful. So, just to make sure that people get the shelter of Lord, the Lord Rishabhadeva appears in the form of this Avaduta, and just to show these people that this bodily enjoyment and bodily needs can be minimized, should be minimized if you want to reach the higher spiritual advancement. So this is the real purpose of the Rishabhadeva's appearance. So in this shloka also, it is mentioned that Lord appears here just to set an example for the yogis, that you should never get bewildered in so many yogic powers, because when you start to do all this yoga, when you start doing some spiritual practice, immediately people will come and ask for your blessings, and they will say, oh, you are very great. You will get so many name and fame, and immediately what will think, oh yes, I have become a great devotee now. Now I can give the blessings. Now I will pray for you. I will do this for you. No, we keep ourselves very quiet and we do our sadhana. We try to help others. We should have this thought that yes, still I need to grow more. I need to advance more. I'm not at all in a very good position in my spiritual life. So if we think like that, then we can grow more. Otherwise, when we start to think immediately that as I'm advancing, I'm good, I'm doing good, then immediately our fall down starts. So in this way here, that Lord has shown them an example that we should never go for this yoga siddhis. And why he has avoided this yoga siddhi in the 6th chapter, the same question Parikshit Maharaj will ask. Even though Rishabhadeva is completely Atmarama, he is completely in Paramahamsa state, why he has not entertained this yoga siddhis? Then Shukadeva Goswami says you can never trust your mind. Mind is so unchaste, and if you trust your mind, it will bewilder you. Just to show this example that an intelligent person should never trust the mind. If you give this yoga siddhis to the mind, immediately it will start thinking, okay, now you are Ishvara, now you are controller, now you can do everything. So just to avoid it, because we have seen in the life of Vishwamitra, he got this yoga siddhis and he got bewildered. He got bewildered in so many means of charitable work for helping Trishangu, and also he got bewildered in the power, name, in the lust also. So this yoga siddhis will bewilder us. So that's why he said, I don't want to use this yoga siddhis. And it is mentioned very interesting thing that even though he is Lord, even though he is Bhagavan himself, he is a partial incarnation of, he is a incarnation of Lord himself, but still he developed devotion for Vasudeva. Lord himself develops devotion for the Lord. How is it possible? In Lakhu Bhagavatamrita, Rupa Goswami gives very nice analogy. He says, if you see this Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna, they're all Vishnu Tattva. But the Rama is glorified, and other Vishnu Tattvas, they're all worshipping him. So in this way, even though we can say that Lakshmana is Anantashesha and Bharata, they're all Vishnu Tattvas basically. But one Vishnu Tattva is worshipping another Vishnu Tattva. Even in Bhagavatam, we see the end of Bhagavatam, the Dasamaskanda, the Lord Narayana in Vaikuntha Loka, he wanted to see Krishna, so he speaks all the Brahmana's son to the Vaikuntha Loka, and he gets darshan of Krishna also. So that is what here, that Lord wanted to show an example that ultimately the Supreme Lord Vasudeva is all attractive and he is Purna, and even we like to worship him. What about others? Even as a Lord's incarnation, Rishabhadeva, we like to have Lord's association and we like to worship him because he is the supermost and he is so sweet. So this is what he is mentioning, that Supreme Lord, Ede Chamsa Kalapam Saha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indriyara Yakalam Lokam Vritayanti. Very interesting shloka, which this is the main shloka for our Gaudiya Sampradaya. Our whole Sampradaya is resting on this one main shloka, Ede Chamsa Kalapam Saha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. It's like a Mahavakya for our Sampradaya. So this is what this shloka says, that even though Rishabhadeva, he got so much attachment for the Lord Vasudeva, and he was showing different kinds of symptoms of crying and shivering, and so with this higher rasa, he could give up all this lower rasa of mystic yoga and all this power. Na parameshtyam, na mahedratishtyam, na sarvabhaumam, na rasadhipatyam, na yoga siddhir apunabhavamba, ayarpita atma ichchati madvina nyed. Krishna says to Uddhava, hey Uddhava, my devotees, they will never ever ask for Indra's heaven or Brahmadeva's place or the kingdom of whole world, or they don't want even yoga siddhis, they don't want any kind of liberation also. Why? Because they have surrendered themselves to me. They don't want anything except me. Na tatame priyatama atmayone na shankaraha, na cha sankarshano, na cha shrihi, naivatmana cheta bhavan. That's why devotees are more dear to me than Brahma, Shiva, Sankarshana, and even Lakshmi. In comparison with all four of them, for me, devotee is more closer or more dear, because they don't need anything, they want only me. So that's what here this shloka says, that because of this higher taste, he could reject all this lower kind of yoga siddhis. So the yogis, one who has tasted Krishna's rasa, he will never go for this yoga siddhi. That's what Srila Prabhupada says, that even though devotees, they may get these powers, they don't want to entertain these powers. Why? Because this is one of the lakshana of Sharanagati. Anukulya sankalpaha pradikulya se varjanam rakshishyati iti vishwasaha. That's the third Sharanagati. What is it? Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa. Having complete faith that Lord is my only Savior, He will save me. So this form of complete surrender or complete expectation of Lord's mercy, this is a devotee's mood. Like we have seen in the life of Sita, when she is sitting in Ashokavana, then Hanuman comes and says, "My dear Sita, my dear mother, why are you sitting here?" And Rama is crying there. So just come with me, I will take you immediately to Rama wherever he is. Why we have to wait all this way? Then Sita says, "What do you think, Hanuman? I don't have any power? I can just burn Lanka in 1 minute and I can kill Ravana in 1 second and then I can come myself. But that will not bring Rama's glory out." Then Valmiki Rishi will write that Sita was abducted by Ravana and Sita came on her own and Rama took her. Then it will not be like Rama, it will be Sita. So just to bring the glory of Rama, she waited. What she did, she was waiting and she was expecting Lord's mercy and she was crying and she was crying and she was crying. She was just crying. That's it. She was doing devotion. And everything else was done by Lord. So this is what Atmas can do. We can just do our endeavor and all other things are done by Lord. If we take one step, Lord takes 100 steps. That's what we say. So this Rakshishyati Vishwasaha. Even Srila Prabhupada, he had complete faith. Yes, Lord will do this. And he went, he struggled and he had complete faith on the Lord and Lord helped. So that's what here this also say that we should be always waiting for Lord's mercy. But anyway, we don't have any powers. So we have to wait for Lord's mercy only. Nothing can be done. It's not for our stage. But here he is speaking about the yoga siddhis. So yoga siddhis, it's not very much necessary for us. So we have, Prabhupada mentions about different yoga siddhis. He speaks about 8 Ashtama siddhis, but in the 11th canto, we have 18 siddhis. Krishna speaks to Uddhava about 18 yoga siddhis. Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishta, Vashati, Kamya, Vachati. So all these 8 siddhis are there, and then there are some 10 more siddhis also. So in this way, devotees, they don't entertain these siddhis. Once Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur met a famous yogi, and this yogi said, "You see, I got yoga siddhi." Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, "What yoga siddhi you have?" "Oh, I can walk on water." And he was walking on water. And people are amazed, "Oh, he's walking on water." Then he said, "You see, I got this power." Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, "Oh, this siddhi you got, but I can get this siddhi in just 2 rupees. You have wasted all your life to get this siddhi to walk on water. I can just pay 2 rupees to this boat wala and he will drop me in the other shore. So I don't have to waste my time to walk on the water or to drink whole river and things like that." So devotees, they don't care. Why? Because for them it is not necessary. It is just bewildering. It is just bewildering for them. So in the similar way, the Rishabhadeva says he just rejected all these yoga siddhis and he continued his way of living like Avadhuta. So in this way, this shloka says all these things, and also after hearing this kind of description from Shukadeva Goswami about Rishabhadeva, Parikshit was little bit disturbed. He was thinking, my God, that Lord appeared in Surya Vamsha and Chandra Vamsha in this dynasty, and I can see all those devotees are also completely renounced and they are without attachment and they had gone through so much tapasya to reach the Lord. But what we have done? We have done nothing. Our family is useless. So how to gain that Lord's mercy? So he was thinking he was little bit disturbed. After noticing this disturbance, then Shukadeva Goswami says, "Rajan patir guru alam bhavatam yadonam Devam priya kula pati kvacha tingarova astevam anga bhagavan bhajatam mukundo muktim dadati karehechit smana bhakti yogam." He says, "Oh, Parikshit Maharaj, don't worry. Don't think that Lord has not appeared in your dynasty. Lord has done more than what he can do in other avatars, in other dynasties. He was your patir, he was your protector, he was your instructor, guru. Alam bhavatam yaduna, not only you for your yadu also, and daivam, he was your worshipful deity. Priyaha, he was most dearful person for you, and most dear person for you. And kulapati, he was your worshipable deity of your family, and the Kinkarava, sometimes he behaved like a servant for you also. So this is the highest thing. Astvevam Anga Bhagavan Bhajatam Mukundo. Because you are all devotees of Lord, Lord has taken up this position of a servant also in your family. So don't think Lord has not favored your family. Lord has favored your family much more than any other family. Muktim dadadi karihichite smana bhakti yogam. Lord can give even mukti, but he will never give bhakti, because bhakti binds the Lord. Bhakti will make someone servant. So don't think Lord has not given. So in this way, that this liberation is even the devotees, they don't want even liberation. That's what this shloka says, that he even rejected. These devotees, they're not even interested in liberation also. Why? Because liberation is already included in bhakti. Once if you get bhakti, you're already liberated. Brahma bhuta prasanna atma na sauchati na kanchati samasarveshu bhutesu mad bhaktim labate param. He is already liberated. Brahma bhuta prasanna atma mad bhaktim labate param. He attains my bhakti. So what is liberation? Liberation is moksham, mukti, hitva, anyata arupam, sarupena varstitihi. Giving up your false identification and being situated in your own identification as a Mamayivamsa Jivaloke, as Krishna's servant, and acting in that way it is a definition of mukti. So when you are doing devotion service, you are already liberated. You don't need liberation in a separate form. So when Kapiladeva was speaking, he says that devotees, they are not after mukti also. Why? Because they are already liberated, and they are thinking, what's the use of mukti? What I will do there? Here, satsanga is more better than mukti. He gives a very nice analogy that a person is sitting on a boat on the Ganga river, and it is a Paurnami, so Purnima. So Purnima sun, Purnima moon is blowing very, it is spreading so cool breeze around, cool light around, and this cool breeze is coming out, and he is going on the Ganga. So how he will feel? He will feel so happy. He will feel so cool. And as soon as the shore comes, he will think, why this? Why I have to get down? I can travel more in this boat itself. I don't want to get down. So in a similar way, devotees, they all the time say, Krishna, I don't want mukti. Mama janmani janmani bhavatar bhakti rahituki. I can take birth after birth, provided you get association of devotees. If you have association of devotees, I'm so happy here itself, in your association of devotees speaking about you or thinking about you and remembering you. I'm so already happy here. I don't want liberation, anything separate. But Lord, he forces mukti. He gives mukti to a devotee. That's what Kapiladeva says. It's like a very good analogy also he gives, that when somebody gives you a donation in a plate, you have different things and you put some Lakshmi also in there. So a person accepts everything, but his main thing goes to that donation part. He just takes that Lakshmi, and other things somebody will distribute. But it comes along with donation, and you accept everything. So it's a package. In a similar way, when you get bhakti, mukti just already comes along with that as a free gift, like that. So devotee, he just accepts mukti because Lord anyway he gives. And also Jiva Goswami says that why devotee they reject mukti? Because devotees are so humble. They think, I'm so useless, I'm so fallen. How can I go to the Lord's eternal abode, where Nitya Muktas are there, where Nitya Suris are there, where liberated souls are there? How I can go among them and serve the Lord? I'm so fallen. It's like Haridas Thakur. He never wanted to enter Jagannath Puri. He never wanted to even go in the streets of Jagannath Rath is going. So out of his humbleness, he doesn't want to go in the street also. So that's what Jiva Goswami says. Out of humbleness, the devotee, they even reject this mukti also. So this how this shloka we can understand from Acharya's commentary to some extent. And I think how much time we have more? It's already 6 o'clock. Do we have time?
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
How much time can I take?
Usually, you can go until whatever time you are available, Prabhu. That closing time is 8 o'clock, the Bhagavatam class. Before 8, we'll close it. 30 more minutes.
Now it's 6 o'clock for us here in the evening. So
yeah, until your time 6:20, you can go, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji, if you are done with the class, you can take questions.
No. Now there's an important part, because now we have about Mother's Day. So I will
Yes. Speak something, Prabhuji.
something about Mother's Day also, because we have many mothers here, many matras here. So I'm very grateful to speak about that also. Now, if you see Vedas, the Dharma Shastra starts like this. Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava. The first sentence of the Dharma Shastra is Matrudevo Bhava. Matrudevo Bhava. You should see your mother just like you will respect God. So, mother plays a main role, even though for some people, those who doesn't understand the instructions of literature, Shastra properly, they will think women as Maya and the woman is this and woman is that, and we should never think about women, we should never see them, and we should never hear. There are so many instructions. We should see what does it mean actually. But to say, my Guru Maharaj used to say, we should always think about women. Then we will get liberation. Such a statement. Usually Shastra says we should never think about women. But he says we should always think about women. Why? We should think about women like Kunti Maharani. We should think women like Draupadi. We should think women like Devahuti. We should think women like Yashoda. We should think women like Radharani. So if we think women like them, with their relationship with God and their mood of serving God, then we get liberation. So it depends on in what way we see them. So this mother or the motherly quality, it's one of the main quality of women. Women means they are matravat paradhareshu. That's what Chanakya says, and the Shastra also says that we should treat everyone like a mother. That's why Srila Prabhupada has insisted to call women Mataji to all the women, except his wife. But sometimes their husband, they used to say, my Mataji is coming. So they refer their wife also as Mataji out of innocence. But all the women have this motherly nature. And so we should have this gratitude towards our mother, first of all. If we don't have this gratitude towards our mother, then we will never show gratitude towards God. Because if you cannot show gratitude who is visible in front of you, how can you show gratitude who is beyond your imagination and beyond your sense perception? So gratitude starts from this word. That's why it says Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam. In our tradition, we say that mother, father, and then Guru, and then God. Mother, he gives birth to a child. He gives good health also, and then she gives the child to father. So father, he teaches some disciplinary activities, and then he gives that boy to Guru, and Guru teaches the knowledge and he gives to God. So this krama goes like this. So that's why mother plays a main role in every human being. Every human being, whether he is an acharya or paramahamsa, paramapurusha, whatever, mother plays a very important role. So we have 7 mothers mentioned in the Shastras. Atmamata, Guru Patni, Kamini, Raja Patnika, Denur, Tatri, Tata, Prithvi, Sapta, Ete, Matara Smritaha. These 7 people should be considered as our mother. That is our mother and Guru's wife and Brahmini, all the Brahmanical ladies, and Raja Patni, that is king's wife, Venu, cow, and Dhatri, means the nurse, and Tata Prithvi, the earth. These seven should be considered as our mother. To this material body, these 7 are real mother. So until we have this material body, we should respect them, we should treat them properly, and we should serve them properly also, because to show gratitude, and ultimately we should help them to become Krishna consciousness. If they are not Krishna consciousness, at least we should become Krishna consciousness so that they will also get benefited. So that is the real meaning of putra or putri. Why we call putra? Putra means one who saves them from hell. From putrayati iti putra. Otherwise they are called mutras. Mutra means urine. So putra and mutra both come from the same hole. If the son or daughter, if they are useless, if they are characterless, if they are not devotee, then they simply useless endeavor of the parents. So all the mothers, we have this great responsibility also that it is not only enough that we give birth to a child and take care of their bodily needs, but we should impart them spiritual life also, so that they can become devotee also. So this is one of the main duty of a mother, and also as a son, as a daughter, we should also develop our devotion service so that we can help our mother reaching our ultimate goal. This is for spiritual, this is for material bodies concerned. We have the 7 kinds of mother. And if you go to little higher platform, that is soul's platform, then Shastra is considered as our mother. Prabhupada all the time says, Shastras are like our mother. It can show who is our father. So Shastras are real mother, because this Atma is suffering in this world without knowing the father. So mother has to reveal who is the father. Shastra Yoga. So unless we hear from our mother properly and serve mother properly and understand and have faith on our mother, we will never understand who is our father. So Shastra is also considered as mother. Vedas are considered as mother, and more than that, Paramatma is considered our mother also. In other sampradayas, they say Paramatma is just like our mother. Why? Because he's sitting inside our heart, and he's traveling everywhere with us. Whether we are in a dog's body, or animals, or insect, or bird, or demigod, whatever body we go, this Paramatma is all the time is with us and he's helping us. He's like a son had a fight with his mother and he left his home. And he has gone and he's hungry now. He want to eat something, but there is nothing to eat. So in those days there are dharmashalas where they serve free food. So he goes to a dharmashala to get a food, but it was already night time. It was about to close. So mother knows that this boy will go to this dharmashala and he will ask food from that place. So mother, what she does, she prepares some food. She packs and she goes to the dharmashala manager without the knowledge of son, and she gives this food. If my son will come, please give this food. He will be very hungry and he will take this. So the manager is okay, and rest assured the son comes and he's asking, can I get some food? The manager says, yes, we have food. Please take this food. And this boy is eating and he's thinking, whose food is this? Is this your food or somebody has given? No, it is our food one. The person has no faith also. So he's eating. And the mother, she's looking from behind. She's hiding and she's looking whether my son is eating and whether he's peaceful, whether his hunger has gone down. And she's satisfied. In a similar way, we have left our father, we have left our house, we have left our service, we have left our world, and we have come to this world to enjoy. But still, here nobody will help us to enjoy unless Paramatma arranges us, Paramatma helps us to enjoy anything in this world, to act, even to see, even to smell, even to forget God. Only Paramatma has to help us. So Paramatma is all the time with us, because he is moving with us in the form of a mother, and he is helping us. So in Bhagavatam, there is a Dhruva Maharaj Charitra. Even this Dhruva Maharaj Charitra, that we have 2 kinds of mother, Suniti and Surichi. So when Dhruva Maharaj was disturbed, then he comes to Suniti, he's asking, what can I do? Then Suniti says, I'm helpless, I cannot help you. Who can help me? Then he says, Tamayeva vatsa ashraya vritya vatsam mumukshubir mridaya padpaja patyam ananya bhava nijadharma bhavite manasya vastapi bhajasva purusham. She says, Tamayeva vatsa ashraya vritya vatsalam. You go to that Lord who is more than any mother. She says, she gives a very good analogy, and Vishwanath Thakur explains that mother can give you affection. How much affection she can give? Only one mother's affection. But there are so many mothers in this material world, and every mother has their affection for their child. So if you put all the mother's affection in one place, and this one affection is not equal to Lord's affection. Lord's affection towards the devotees cannot be equated with millions of mothers' affection together in this material world. So that's what she says. Tameva vatsya ashraya vritya vatsalam mumukshubhir vrigapadamja padhitam ananya bhava nija dharma bhavita manasi avastapi bhajasva purusham. So you go and worship that Lord. He is your real mother. he can give you real affection of your mother. Not only one mother's affection, but millions of mother's affection together, only he can give you. So this is very good instruction for a child that mother can give. In Ramayana, we have three kinds of mother. We have Kausalya, we have Kaikeyi, and we have Sumitra. So Kausalya, she's a kind of mother, she thinks my son should be good. I don't know about others, but my son should be good. And Kaikeyi, only my son should be good, and other sons, they should destroy. They should not live properly, only my son has to be happy. But there's a third kind of son, third kind of mother. She always thinks how other sons will be happy, how my son can be helpful for others. So if you see Kausalya, she was praised for being a mother of Rama. That's why we have Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva. When we have Suprabhata, it starts with Kausalya Supraja. It glorifies mother, not Dasharada Supraja. It glorifies mother, Kausalya Supraja. So she got this name as Rama's mother. And Kaikeyi, she's always thinking about her son's glory, and she wanted to throw Rama away. But you see Sumitra. Sumitra has two sons. And even though she has two sons are not useful for her. Why? Because she says to Lakshmana, Lakshmana, you please go with Rama. Don't stay here. I have given birth to you just so you can serve Rama. There is no any purpose of your existence if you cannot serve Rama. So you please go to the forest and serve Rama. And another son, we have Shatrugna. Shatrugna is serving Bharata. So she has two sons, but two sons are not for her. She has given it for the Lord's service. So this is how the mother's mood should be. That yes, these are my sons, but my sons means what? They should be engaged in Lord's service. Then they are real sons. Then they are considered as my children. Otherwise, they are not so much useful. So mothers, they have this higher role that they should give birth to a proper child with proper consciousness, with proper health, and they should train them from the young age to get into devotional mood so that they can serve the Lord properly. And different kinds of mothers have different kinds of mood in Shastra, like Kunti Maharani. She says, please cut all the affection for my children and my relatives because this is too much. Even though Kunti had so much affection for the Pandavas, she's saying that anyway, Lord, you are saving them. Whenever we have problem, you are coming and you are saving them. Even without my asking, even without my praying for you, you come and you immediately save my son. But still, due to this affection, I'm always thinking, oh my Lord, why they are suffering like this? But I should know you are better mother. You have so much affection on my sons than me. So why I should get disturbed? Please cut away all this affection for my children. So this is what Kunti Maharani says. And Draupadi, she also says that when Ashwatthama was brought by Arjuna to kill, then she says, no, I don't want Kripi to suffer like me, because I know the suffering of how if a mother loses her son, how much she will suffer. So I don't want to do that. So she had shown this mode of compassion of her mother also towards this Ashwatthama, even though Ashwatthama has killed all the sons, all the sleeping sons. And the Devahuti was submissive to Kapila, and she followed what her husband said. Husband said, you go and take instruction from our son. And she followed, and she was instructed by Kapila, and she also got liberated. And we have Yashoda Mata, ultimately she could bind Krishna out of her motherly affection. So in this way, mothers, they play main role in Krishna consciousness, giving Krishna consciousness to the young world. So keeping all this mind, as a mothers, as a responsible mothers, we have this great role of giving this Krishna consciousness very mercifully to our family and also to the other children of this world. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If anybody has any questions or comments, please.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's a beautiful class and very enlightening class. Thank you so much. Wonderful wishes to all mothers. If anybody have any further questions or realization, please go ahead. Please raise hand so we can unmute for you.
Looks like
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is Sanita here. Dandavat Pranams. I have a question like you were saying about Bharat Maharaj, right? So before that, now this year is known as Bharata Varsha. Before that, what it was known? You were saying something.
Ajanaba Varsha.
Ajanaba Varsha. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sorry for my bad English again.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class. No, Prabhu, your English was perfectly fine and we could understand everything. You have summarized whole chapter. It was so nice, Prabhu, hearing your realization. The way you compared each and every verse of Bhagavatam to Bhagavad Gita was so amazing. You just easily, connected every verse to Bhagavatam. Sorry, Bhagavatam after Bhagavad Gita, and you just connect. Easy to understand. Very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Because it helps us. Now we are going through this Bhagavata Pravaha. We are going through each and every chapter with Acharya's commentaries. It's amazing how Acharyas explain. They explain the flow and how this verse is connected with that verse. And when you start reading this Acharya's commentary, then you get used to practice, think in that way. As soon as you see something, then immediately you will start connecting with verses from Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita. So this is how, instead of giving some mundane exams, some mundane examples and jokes and analogies, we can always quote Shastric examples and shlokas. It is very powerful. It purifies the hearer also. So thank you very much again for giving me this opportunity. I know this is some devotees, they were asking, oh, you got inside Bhakti Sangha Japa group. Oh, very nice. They are congratulating me actually. So I can understand that many senior devotees, they come and give class here, and I also got some or other, like a student got a chance to serve in Rama's big project work, so I also got some service, and I think I have justified whatever service I have given. Anybody have any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class, and thank you so much for summarizing whole chapter. We were waiting when the verse is coming, and verse is the last verse today. And thank you so much. Your sloka recitation is so wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And thank you for speaking about Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers on the call. Thank you. Thank you for coming and giving your time to us.
I see Sham Sudhakar Prabhu's microphone is unmuted. Prabhu, you have question or accident? Okay, maybe.
No, Mataji, I don't have a question.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it was so wonderful class. Thank you for such an enlightening class. Thank you.
Anita Mataji has invited me for this.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. I did not know about you, but Mataji explained me about you. Thank you.
By Krishna's mercy, Prabhuji, not me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Pancha Kalpatarvasya, Kripa Sindhubhyavacha, Patitanam
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namah.
Anantakoti
Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Vaishnava
jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Vamshidhari Prabhu.
Grace, Vamshidhari Prabhu ki jai.
Jai. All mothers ki jai.
Jai.
Happy Mother's
Hare
Day to
Krishna.
all.
Happy Mother's Day to all mothers.